Step into the heart of the Roman Empire, a world of absolute power, where gods and men walked the same streets. Here, amidst the echoes of gladiators and emperors, lies a story rarely told. A story of obsession, suffering, and a love so twisted it scarred history itself. This is the tale of Nero and Sporus. Nero. The very name conjures images of a tyrant, an emperor remembered for his cruelty and boundless indulgence. But behind the marble facades of his palaces and the deafening roar of the Colosseum, a dark obsession festered. It was an obsession with a young boy who would, against all odds, become his empress. His name was Sporus. Imagine being a child snatched from your family, your future erased in an instant. This was Sporus's reality. Castrated before he even reached manhood, he was molded and shaped for a singular, chilling purpose. He wasn't to be a servant nor a soldier. He was destined to become a replacement, a living echo of someone Nero could never let go of, his beloved deceased wife Poppaea Sabina. The resemblance, they said, was uncanny. And for Nero, that was enough. He cloaked Sporus in the lavish robes of an empress, adorned him with the finest jewels, and paraded him before the astonished Roman court. Then, in a ceremony that sent shockwaves through the empire, he married him. The Emperor of Rome took a boy, forced him into the role of a woman, and publicly declared him his bride. In the shadowed alleyways and opulent villas of Rome, whispers turned to outrage. This was a step too far, an act of madness. But who would dare challenge the emperor? To question Nero was to sign your own death warrant. His power was absolute, his wrath legendary. And so, the city watched in stunned silence. For Sporus's life became a tightrope walk of survival. Every breath was a performance, every gesture a carefully rehearsed act of obedience. His identity was stolen, his body forever altered. He was no longer Sporus, the boy from a humble family. He was a phantom, the living shadow of a dead empress, trapped in the gilded cage of Nero's fantasy. To understand how such a thing could happen, we must look deeper into the complex tapestry of Roman culture. Relationships between powerful older men and younger boys, known as puer delicatus were not uncommon. They were often a complicated mix of mentorship, affection, and dominance. But what Nero did to Sporus shattered these norms. This wasn't about mentorship or affection. This was about absolute control. It was a macabre display of power, a demonstration that the emperor's will was the only law that mattered. Sporus had no choice. He was a prisoner in a palace, an actor in a play he never auditioned for. And yet the historical record shows he remained by Nero's side, a constant, silent presence. He was there at public ceremonies, in grand royal processions, and in the private chambers of the imperial palace. Always dressed, always displayed, always playing the part of the empress. Was it fear? Was it a strange form of loyalty born from trauma? We can only speculate about the turmoil that raged within him, but the foundations of power are rarely stable. Empires rise and empires fall. In the year 68 AD, the tide turned against Nero, facing widespread revolt and abandoned by his guards. The once mighty emperor was declared an enemy of the state. His reign of terror ended not in a grand battle, but in a desperate, frantic flight from Rome, with only a few loyal followers by his side. And among them, in his final terrifying moments, was Sporus. As Nero's world crumbled, he took his own life, famously lamenting, "What an artist dies in me." But what became of Sporus, the boy empress left behind? His tragedy, tragically, was far from over. With Nero gone, Sporus became a curiosity, a living relic of a despised reign. He was passed between the new rulers, pawns in their political games. He was paraded through the streets, not as an empress, but as a symbol of Nero's depravity. He was mocked, humiliated, and forced to reenact his tragic past for the amusement of others. The final blow came when he was ordered to play the part of a maiden being abducted in a gladiatorial spectacle. Public performance of his own life? Trauma. Faced with this ultimate degradation, Sporus saw only one way out. He took his own life. He was still just a young man, his life a series of scars, both visible and invisible. He died as he had lived, broken, silenced, and a shadow of a person he was never allowed to be. The story of Nero and Sporus is not a romance. It is a brutal testament to the abuse of power, the destruction of innocence, the terrifying reality for those without a voice. It reminds us that behind the glorious facade of ancient Rome, with its magnificent architecture and philosophical debates, there were countless untold tragedies, the forgotten voices of those who suffered in silence. Sporus's life is a haunting echo through time, a stark reminder that history is not just about emperors and battles, but also about the human cost of greatness. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the darker side of history. If you found this story compelling, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tales from the past. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.